Hello everyone, it's Georgia here. I'm sorry if this video is a little bit low in volume. My son is sleeping next door and he gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'll be in really big trouble if I do my usual loud, loud hilarious kinds of videos. So I'm trying to keep it a little bit on the low down today. Okay, so this is the third project for our September 2020 online art retreat in the silence, and I was trying to think up of something to make that was quite simple because, as I've mentioned before, I have not had very much time to get projects organised this month because of my big move. And I wanted to do something along the lines of a journal-y kind of things, because we seem to be following a pattern now of doing a Bible journaling page, a home decor kind of thing, and a journal folio, paper crafty holder thing kind of project. And I thought every month for our retreats, I ask everyone to come up with their focus verse for the retreat. And most girls and guy coming along are writing their verse out and doing a really pretty job. And I thought, well, if you're like me and you're hanging on to them, you might be thinking, wouldn't it be nice to have something to put them into and keep them together? So I thought I would make a little embellishment holder, and I've been on YouTube having a look around at different ideas, and I saw a couple of Matchbook type folders, and I thought that would be perfect, only because my quotes have been quite big or on large pieces of paper. This is just for you, Lydia. I am going to make a Texas matchbook holder. Is that what they're called matchbooks, right? The little books that you open up, there's matches in them. So I'm making a Texan matchbook for my focus verses. So basically it's going to be a really, really big matchbook. So when you make yours, I'm not going to give you dimensions because it's going to depend on the size that you've been making your quotes. And then you'll have to think for future retreats, make sure that you make your quote cards small enough to fit into the thing that we're making today. Okay, so I've pre-cut. I started doing this during my retreat, and then I thought, no, this is too hard to film because I did not have the holder, and I was trying to film it with one hand holding the iPad. It's just too hard, so I stopped. So I've cut out these two pieces of paper, and I've used graphic 45 paper, and this is from my collection. I can't remember the name now. It will come to me. Now they are slightly different sizes. Now I've made them wide enough to have a bit of space either side and to fit my verse cards. Now I have one piece which is, how to explain, this will be the front, this will be the back. And I've already scored the top of this one. I'm going to score the top of this one as well. So I have scored them both. Now I'm scoring mine at 3/4 inches. But of course, where you put your score line is dependent on the size of your little book. Now these two pieces are actually going to stick together. Then this will be the front, and the back I have already scored at 1 inch down the bottom. Will flip over like this so that the front cover is just slightly underneath this little fold. Hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully it becomes apparent as we carry on. So what I'm going to do is, if your verses are small enough and you're making quite a small matchbook, then you could actually cut it as one piece of paper, and then you would fold it up here, and you would not have these, two pieces like I do. I could not make one in one length because it's just way too long. So I've had to cut it on two separate papers. So hopefully that won't be too much of a problem up the top. So I'm just getting the glue. And I'm using a wet glue because I don't particularly like doing these things with double-sided tape, because the tape does come off over time. a lot of the time, especially in something that, you know, you're using a lot and it's getting carried around and opened and closed all the time. So I like my wet glue. Some people would cringe, but I like it. There we go. So that's the top bit there. And if you wanted to, once it's dry, you could actually punch a hole along here and then put it through a ring if you were going to make a few of these. You could punch a couple of holes if you wanted to put it into a folder or an album. I'm just going to leave mine as it is. I think I'm going to end up putting a little strip of washi or something along the top. We'll see as time goes by, because you know me, I make these things up as I go. So this is my little book. Very, very simple so far. This is going to be the disaster project, I think. While the camera was not rolling, thank goodness, you might have heard some words that you don't want to hear. I had here my experiment candle from the first project sitting burning on my desk, and some books fell over, tipped the candle over, wax everywhere. So there's a lovely textured look to this matchbook cover. Little spots of wax all over it. There's wax all over the desk. I've scraped most of it off, but it's everywhere. It's splashing my face. It's just... Okay, but we did not set the house on fire, so that's a good thing. We're still here. Now, right, so I've trimmed up the edges where I did not stick it straight. That bit up the top is stuck, so it opens like this. Now I have cut a little piece of the same card, same width, and it's, for those who like to know measurements, it's about 3 inches tall. Again, it will depend on how big your actual project is. And I am going to stick it down here as a pocket. And so I only want to put the glue along the sides and the bottom. Oops, wax. I'm going to be finding bits of wax everywhere for a very, very long time, I think. So I'm just sticking that down on the bottom, making sure that this little flap still folds over. And once that dries, that will be a little pocket that I can slide my reverse cards into. And as you can see, wax. Wax on everything. This one survived pretty well, the wax peeled off, but this one, the wax has just gone through the paper. Yeah, disaster. Okay, so that's that. So that is the bare bones of my matchbook. Now I'm going to decorate it a little bit. Now I've pulled out my ribbons and bits of lace and things, and what I'm going to do is, I have this really, really pretty lace ribbon that was given to me by a friend. I'm going to stick a length of that across the top, and then I will very likely stick some ribbon along here and along that edge there as well. Okay, so I've got my lacy ribbon up the top, and I've stuck a little bit of lace down here on this fold up edge, and some, I don't know what you call this, sort of frilly yarn kind of stuff. Some stuff along here. Now what I'm going to do before I do anything else, because I always forget this, is I'm just going to ink around the edges. Oops. So I always seem to forget that I have ink. And since this is the disaster project, I'm bound to forget one thing or another. And this is, you know, stuff's going to happen. Bad things are going to happen. I can feel it. So I'm just going all the way around on the front and the back. And it just gives it a little bit of depth. And what I'm also going to do is I have this packet from Simple Stories, their Carpe Diem brand or range, and these are actually planner inserts, which I kind of bought by accident. I did not realize what they were when I bought them kind of quickly on special online, and I didn't realize that they had the holes punched to fit the actual planners that this range, or they come with this range. So obviously they don't, well, so they don't fit into anything that I own, but I kind of like the pages, so I've kept them aside as papers to use as embellishments or whatever. And I've pulled out one of the, what do you call them? One of the separative pages. I'm sure it's dividers. I've pulled out one of the divider pages, and I've just cut out the be still from the entire page. I'm keeping the rest of it because I might use it some other time. And I'm going to ink around the edge of that. And then I am also, since I've got the ink out, I'm going to get this white rickrack ribbon, and I'm going to cut a piece that is almost as long as the width of my little matchbook, or my big matchbook. And because I don't actually want it white, but white is the only color I have, I'm going to actually ink that a little bit. Okay, so what I want to do now is just going to grab my glue. Actually get this in shot for a change. And I'm going to put a big line of glue along the center and stick down my ribbon. So basically what I'm just doing now is just decorating. And you can really stick anything, use anything, buttons, ribbons, lace, bits of card. Oops, almost went upside down. And I'm being really pedantic now and centering it. And I'm just going to stick that there. Okay, now I would like to put something here in the center. Now I did some looking around for what I thought might be the perfect thing to put on the front cover of my big matchbook quote holder. And I pulled out this clear sticker that was sent to me by a lovely friend. Thank you, Kath. And I thought, wow, this is so appropriate. And this, I am, just for, most people won't get it, but just between you and I, Kath, I am making this video the day after I received your happy mail with the Hope Stone. So this is just, a couple of days after I've come home from my weekend retreat that was all about hope. And now it's popping up everywhere. It's yeah, funny how that happens. So I had this beautiful clear sticker, and I was like, oh wow, this is just perfect on so many levels. And what I've done is I've actually stuck it onto a piece of cardstock. It's kind of like a, well, what color do you call that? Whatever color you call that, that's what it is. I then inked around the outside, and that's going to go on my cover. And I've also pulled out a bit of this Hessian ribbon that I've kept from, I can't remember where I got it. And I thought it might be nice to put a little bit of, a bit of texture behind this quote card. So I'm just going to cut it about there. And I think that might be really pretty like that. So I'm just going to glue that down and stick it and then let it dry. So I ended up sticking this fabric flower onto the front from this Prima pack that I have, and a little metallic, oops, it's not dry yet, it's still drying, a little metallic embellishment from Bo Bunny from a packet of just mixed things that I bought years and years ago, that I pulled out when I was packing to move and thought, wow, remember this? Better use it. Okay, so now I have my my I keep all my little self-adhesive gems and my enamel dots in a little tea box, and I thought it might be nice to stick some little gems here, there and everywhere. So I'm going to get my little pokey tool because it's always easier then. So just to add a little bit of interest, I'm just going to stick some little gems around the place. I like the pearl ones. And I'm not quite sure how well these are going to stick over time because these are quite old. But if I find that they're coming off, I'll just get in there with some glue and stick them down properly. So I'm just sticking them around randomly. A few little diamante bits. Oops. That one wants to escape. And just for fun, I might use some of these black enamel dots. Don't ask me what brand these are. They might be Doodlebug, but I could be wrong. I never know when to stop. Have you noticed? And sorry if I'm being very quiet, but once again, I'm doing this at night time, and yes, my son is once again asleep to be up very early tomorrow. So no, I don't like that. That's kind of looking to me like I don't know, someone's just accidentally spilt something all over and they've just landed everywhere. It's looking a bit like that. What do we think? Does it look like I've accidentally spilt my beads and have landed all over? Oh dear, I don't know. I don't know what I think about this. I don't know if I'm quite happy with it. But for now, I think I'll stop. I might come back to it at some point and add some little bits and pieces. But for now, I did add a little strip of kind of contrasting paper on the back here, just to give the bottom a little bit more strength. I'm not going to bother decorating the back because really, I'm never going to be looking at it. So here we go, my giant matchbook. And when I open it up, I've got my pocket in there that I can now pop in my quotes or my focus verses from, here we go, July, August, September. So there we go. And of course you could use it for anything you like. You don't have to use it for the same purpose that I did. And if you decide to make one, I would love to see yours. Come on over to our Facebook group, God's Refrigerator, and let us see. Or come over and show me on my personal profile or on my Instagram. All my social links will be down below. Come over and say hi. And if you've enjoyed this video, give me that thing, because for no reason other than just to say, hey, I was here. Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope this has given you some entertainment, if nothing else. I don't know. I'm still recovering from the move. I don't know what I'm doing right now, but it is what it is. Okay, so yeah, thank you again, and I'll catch you later. Bye.